mama said I was not built to break.
And the Grammy goes to...
Every year, the Grammy Awards give us performances we'll never forget. But only once in a generation does a moment come along that silences an entire audience and leaves millions at home speechless. It wasn't about the lights. It wasn't about the trophies. It was about one voice, one song, and one woman who redefined what it means to perform live. Stay with us, because in this video we're taking you back to the night Whitney Houston created the Grammy moment that will never be forgotten. The Grammy Awards have long been the stage where music history is written, a night when artistry and emotion collide under the brightest lights of the industry. Across decades, certain moments have transcended trophies and applause, living on as cultural landmarks, moments that define what it means for music to touch the human soul. These aren't just performances, they are milestones, remembered not for the glitter of the stage, but for the way they left audiences breathless, speechless, and forever changed. Among these unforgettable memories stands one that continues to echo through time. Whitney Houston's 1994 Grammy performance of I Will Always Love You. By then, the song had already become a global anthem through The Bodyguard, but on that stage, stripped of movie screens and studio magic, Whitney proved why she was called simply the voice. With effortless grace and commanding power, she turned the familiar ballad into something eternal. The performance wasn't just a song, it was a masterclass in control, emotion, and artistry. It sealed her place not only as one of the greatest vocalists of her era, but as a legend whose influence still resonates today. Whitney Houston's journey to that Grammy stage was not an overnight story. Born into a family of music, with gospel roots through her mother, Cissy Houston, and connections to icons like Aretha Franklin, Whitney's voice was destined to be heard. From the moment she released her debut album in 1985, the world knew something extraordinary had arrived. Hit after hit, she built not just a career, but a reputation for vocal mastery that seemed almost impossible to match. By the early 1990s, Whitney was more than a pop star. She was a global icon, a symbol of vocal excellence, and an artist whose voice could move millions. Then came The Bodyguard. The film may have been her acting debut, but its soundtrack changed music forever. Leading the charge was I Will Always Love You, a song originally penned by Dolly Parton, but reimagined with Whitney's signature power and soul. It became an anthem of love, loss, and unshakable emotion, topping charts across continents, selling millions, and becoming the best-selling single by a female artist in history. So when Whitney stepped onto the Grammy stage in 1994, the world was already in awe. But that night, she elevated the song beyond its own fame. In a flowing gown, standing almost motionless, she let her voice carry every ounce of emotion. From the delicate opening notes to the breathtaking high climax, the performance silenced the audience, not out of surprise, but out of reverence. This was not just a performance. It was a moment of surrender, as if Whitney was offering the deepest parts of her soul through melody. The cameras captured audience members wiping tears from their eyes, while fellow musicians sat in stunned admiration. Whitney was not competing for attention. She was commanding history. That night, Whitney Houston took home multiple Grammys, including Record of the Year and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. But awards were almost secondary to what had just unfolded. Critics hailed it as one of the greatest live performances ever to grace the Grammys. For millions watching at home, it was confirmation that Whitney was not simply a star of her time, but a voice for the ages. In the years since, her 1994 Grammy performance has been replayed, studied, and celebrated as the gold standard for vocal excellence. For aspiring singers, it remains a benchmark of what the human voice can achieve. For fans, it's a memory of Whitney at her peak, a reminder of the once-in-a-lifetime gift she gave the world. Even decades later, the phrase "the voice" still belongs to her. Because when Whitney Houston sang, I Will Always Love You on that Grammy stage, she wasn't just performing a song, she was etching her name into eternity. The Grammys are filled with dazzling performances, surprise wins, and unforgettable tributes, but only a few rise above the noise to become eternal. Whitney Houston's 1994 performance of I Will Always Love You is one of those rare moments. It wasn't just the technical brilliance of her voice that night, though that alone was unmatched. It was the way she made millions of people feel. The hush of the audience, the collective breath held during her high notes, the tears she drew from strangers across the world. That is what makes a Grammy moment unforgettable. It's not about the trophy, the lights, or the stage. It's about the truth of music, raw, unfiltered, and eternal. Whitney embodied that truth. And decades later, as new stars rise and fresh songs dominate the charts, her performance still stands as a reminder of what the Grammys are meant to celebrate. The power of music to move us, unite us, and leave us forever changed. Because when Whitney Houston sang that night, she didn't just win Grammys. She gave the world a gift, a memory, a feeling, and a standard that will never fade. And that is why her 1994 Grammy performance will always be remembered as the Grammy moment that no one will ever forget. The Grammy stage has seen countless legends, but only a few moments live on forever. Whitney Houston's 1994 performance wasn't just a song. It was pure emotion, delivered with a voice that the world still calls the voice. Even decades later, her high notes still send chills, her presence still commands respect, and her legacy still inspires every artist who dreams of greatness. And that's why, when people ask about the greatest Grammy moment of all time, there's one answer that rises above the rest. Whitney Houston, 1994, I Will Always Love You. A performance that the world will never forget.